The impoverished student I was sponsoring asked to borrow clothes from me, so I turned around and gave her ones my dog had worn, only because I've been reborn. In my past life, she had bound herself to a system, stealing my life by using my belongings. She became the top student genius and school beauty, dated the campus heartthrob, and became famous all over the internet as a high-profile attractive couple. Meanwhile, my grades plummeted, I even had trouble affording meals. And I was discriminated against for wearing dirty clothes that smelled. I tried to defend myself, but she preemptively attacked me, harshly denouncing me as an ungrateful wretch with delusions. Ultimately, on my way to report to the police, I was intercepted by people she had arranged in advance, dragged into a car, and brutally murdered. Starting over, when she came to me for help, I agreed without hesitation. This time, I'll let you thoroughly enjoy the life I've arranged for you. During the long break, Sarah came to my seat awkwardly, with red eyes, and said, "Mia, can I borrow your jacket? I accidentally tore my school uniform during the morning exercises." She turned around, and sure enough, there was a big hole on her back, with her undergarment visible through the torn fabric. The classmates around gasped and all started to speak. "My God, what does it look like for a girl to wear tattered clothes?" "Mia, quickly lend her your jacket, the goddess has spoken." "Why haven't you agreed yet? It would be terrible if people outside saw this." "Yeah, why are you hesitating? Are you unwilling to lend it? Won't you even help a classmate with such a small favor?" In the past, Sarah was the most discriminated against and ignored person in the class, but ever since she bound me to that system, she secretly swapped our appearances. Now, she has become the innocent goddess who ranks first in our grade, with people rushing to pay for her meals. Meanwhile, I'm stuck with a greasy, sallow face covered in freckles, and no matter how hard I try, I can only hover near the bottom of the rankings. What's even more bizarre is that everyone's memories have been altered, and no one remembers that Sarah and I swapped faces. Right now, I watched with a cold sneer at these boys looking at Sarah with eyes full of pity. "You have your own coats, so why don't you lend her yours instead? From now on, I'll give you the chance to curry favor with her. Sarah will definitely be very grateful to you." As soon as I said this, those boys immediately turned around and rummaged through their desks to pull out their coats. Sarah looked at these obviously unintelligent, sloppy fat guys, and every cell in her body resisted. "No, I don't want this, take it all away." Her eyes blinked, instantly welling up with tears as she looked at me pitifully and said, "Mia, did I do something to make you hate me? Please tell me, I'll apologize no matter what." I have to admit, a beautiful woman with tears in her eyes and a delicate voice is truly pitiful, making anyone want to protect her. As expected, the boys who returned all concluded that I had bullied her and pushed me away. They rummaged through my desk and found a knitted jacket marked with LV, presenting it to Sarah as if it were a priceless treasure. I slammed hard into the corner of the desk, and Sarah triumphantly took it, but when she unfolded it, she felt something was off. "Mia, I've never seen you wear this before. Don't tell me you just bought it and haven't worn it yet. This LV must be quite expensive. I don't need to wear something this nice, I'll just wear what you have on." She frowned and stared at me. I got up from the floor and said slowly, "Sarah, this is the clothes I wear every day. I just wear it under my school uniform. If you don't want it, then just give it back to me." I pretended to take it back, but she quickly held it protectively in her arms. With a frighteningly bright gleam in her eyes, "Wear it every day, that's really wonderful. I will definitely cherish it properly. This is my dog's favorite outfit to wear. It has accompanied me since childhood and has now entered its old age. Since we're exchanging destinies, I'll thank you for giving it more time to accompany me." I was getting food in the cafeteria at noon when someone suddenly tapped me on the shoulder from behind. "Finally meeting you in person." I turned around and found it was Simon, the school heartthrob who often appears as the school's spokesperson. He looked even better in person than on screen, cool and dazzling. No wonder he passed the art exam early and got into a famous film academy. The moment he saw me turn around, the surprise in his eyes immediately turned to disappointment and disgust. "How is it you?" Before I could react, the boy took 2 steps back and quickly left. Halfway there, he ran into Sarah face to face. Their eyes met, and a guilty expression flashed across the girl's face as she instinctively wanted to walk away, but the boy had already excitedly stepped forward to block her path. "It's you. I watched your singing video. It was really great. I've already followed you back. Don't you remember me?" Sarah cleared her throat unnaturally and said in an affected manner, "Of course I remember, classmate Xia. It's nice to meet you in person." Although Sarah had already exchanged for an appearance similar to mine through the system, her voice remained unchanged, despite speaking slowly and deliberately emphasizing her pronunciation. A trace of her hometown accent could still be heard upon careful listening. The point is, how did I not know she could sing well? She's famously tone-deaf in the entire class. The light in Simon's eyes dimmed slightly, but he still looked at Sarah happily, his eyes bright. I just came back to school today. I have very few friends here. Would you be willing to spend time with me during this period? The legendary school heartthrob, who had previously only existed in stories, had returned to school, and passing students couldn't help but slow down to steal glances. Hearing him say this now, I could barely hold my plate steady and couldn't help but start discussing. Oh my God, that's Simon. I've only seen a handsome guy like that on TV before. Who is that girl? She's so beautiful too. But the point is how lucky she is to have caught the school heartthrob's attention. I feel like they're going to get together, and when they do, I'll be shipping them so hard I might die. Simon is also incredibly rich. His dad runs a company and his mom is an artist, a total male protagonist straight out of a novel. I'm so jealous I could cry. I was watching from the side when Sarah glanced at me, turned to Simon, and said with a smile, "Of course, that would be great, in the afternoon." The classroom was in an uproar, not only because Simon's return was witnessed by many who were stunned by his heavenly handsome appearance, but also because this year's school anniversary gala introduced a special male-female partner dance segment. The students were too excited to focus on their studies, secretly bringing their phones to search online for what to wear. "Mia, you've been our class's lead singer in previous years, you should sign up for a solo performance this year too." My desk mate poked my arm. I was working on the problem and couldn't help but pause slightly when I heard this. As the lead singer, standing on stage feeling the cheers and applause from countless people, that feeling seems to have passed a very long time ago. My desk mate noticed the frustration in my eyes and comforted me warmly. "It's okay, your acne right now is definitely just hormones from puberty. It doesn't stop us from appreciating your singing voice at all. Don't be discouraged, Mia. In my heart, you'll always be the little princess of the music world." It happened that the arts committee member was collecting a list of performances, so I stood up and walked forward. "I'd like to sign up for a solo." The originally noisy classroom gradually quieted down because of what I said. A voice said sarcastically, "A solo performance? Do you know how many people watch our school's anniversary celebration? There's even a live broadcast. If you want to be famous, maybe you should take a look in the mirror first. Yeah, and don't tell people you're from our class if you go out there. We can't afford that kind of embarrassment. Your face is full of acne and freckles, looking like you've been disfigured." Won't the audience be scared out of their wits when they see you? The entire classroom erupted in enormous laughter. "What's it to you? Signing up is my right." I turned around coldly and walked back. Suddenly, as if possessed, I looked up and met Sarah's eyes across several rows of seats. In her eyes was jealousy and hatred that hadn't been concealed in time. Our eyes met, and Sarah forced a smile at me, saying, "Mia, I wish you success in your performance." With a clatter, the pen in her hand fell straight to the ground, splattering ink everywhere. As soon as class was over, Sarah rushed over to borrow something from me. "Mia, my only pen from last class broke. Can I borrow yours?" I opened my pencil case and showed her. "But I only have one gel pen." "Then do you have a notebook where I can work out some problems?" "A used one is fine." I refused immediately. "No." Sarah's face darkened. She clenched her fists. It seemed she was determined to borrow something from me today. Just then, a commotion erupted outside the classroom, as someone shouted, "Sarah, come out quickly, someone's looking for you." Through the window, I saw Simon surrounded by a group of adoring girls. He wore a moon-white striped shirt today, which accentuated his long neck. His dark hair fell across his forehead, adding to his scholarly air. "Sarah." Simon stood in the sunlight, smiling brightly at her. With 2 bottles of chocolate milk in his hands, Sarah's face turned red. She lifted her chin, put on her most beautiful smile, and walked out. "At this party, a girl can accept a boy's invitation. May I ask if you already have someone in mind?" Simon asked. Sarah pressed her lips together and shook her head. "Not yet." The boy's lips couldn't help but curl upward, and he handed a bottle of milk to Sarah. "Then, why not consider me?" The students looked at these with deep emotion. Sarah has been on financial aid and couldn't even afford reference books. Now she has the hope of marrying into a wealthy family and changing her destiny. Yeah, Simon is definitely going to be a big star in the future, and his family is so rich. They have more money than they could spend in several lifetimes. But Sarah is also impressive. She's been first in the grade for the last few exams, even though I've never seen her study much. Alas, for people like us. With ordinary looks and average grades, we're destined to just be filler in this world. Meanwhile, as I listened to this, the pen in my hands solving problems didn't slacken for even a moment. What does other people's lives have to do with me? I only know that the most important task for a high school student is to study. Suddenly, Sarah's crisp voice rang out, "Mia, come out here for a moment." I looked up in confusion, and she had already rushed in and enthusiastically pulled me over to Simon. "Simon, look, this is my best friend, Mia." I hadn't wanted to look up, afraid that the things on my face would scare people up close. Sarah forcefully grabbed me and made me raise my head, and sure enough, a flicker of disgust crossed Simon's eyes. "Mia is so nice, always sharing her things with me." Sarah spoke enthusiastically, then suddenly pointed at my clothes as if she'd discovered a new continent. "Wow, Mia, the bow brooch on your clothes is so pretty. Can I borrow it to wear?" "I'll return it to you tomorrow." She claimed to be asking for my opinion, but in reality, she just reached out to take it. I immediately moved away, and the brooch accidentally scratched her finger. Although it didn't bleed, Sarah still screamed, "Ah, my finger, it's been pricked." Simon immediately wanted to grab her fingers to check the situation, but Sarah was one step ahead, hiding her hand behind her back. She looked at me with red eyes, full of grievance. "Mia, why are you doing this? Aren't we best friends? If you didn't want to lend it, you could have just said so. Why did you have to do this?" Sob. I really didn't expect this. Seeing what happened, my classmates gathered around, all convinced that I was deliberately targeting Sarah. "Mia, why are you so selfish? What's the big deal about lending you a brooch? Is it really worth making such a fuss about?" "Yeah, it's a blessing that Sarah even liked that worthless brooch. What kind of class could you possibly show off by wearing it? Being ugly is one thing, we were too polite to mention it, but you had to be so vicious too." "Apologize to Sarah right now, and give her the brooch as an apology. Hurry up, or don't make me use force." I looked coldly at Sarah. "What are you pretending for? Who told you to start this first? You think you can just take my things without asking?" She was frightened by my stern appearance, whimpering as if to speak. But then in the next second, "Enough, Mia, is it? Sarah introduced you to me as a good friend, otherwise I wouldn't even glance at someone like you on the street. You've been sending me private messages and harassing me, and I'm absolutely sick of it." Simon's eyes were full of hostility, looking at me with undisguised hatred. Everyone around was stunned, and I also widened my eyes in disbelief. "What? When did I send you private messages? What private messages are you talking about? Stop pretending." "I really regret setting up auto-replies on Weibo, giving people like you a chance." Simon felt nauseous just remembering it. "Last year, you kept switching accounts to harass me crazily. When I clicked on your profile, it was just your various selfies. I'm literally going to throw up. Haven't you ever looked in a mirror? Now you're still jealous and targeting Sarah. How can there be such a vicious girl like you in this world?" Just as the class bell rang, Simon shoved my shoulder hard and left, and I returned to my seat, feeling a chill all over my body. Mocking and contemptuous glances came from all around. Everyone was whispering, accusing me of a toad trying to eat swan meat. But I knew very well that I would absolutely never post on Weibo for someone else. The truth is, before Sarah swapped faces with me, she had been relentlessly harassing Simon. If I'm not mistaken, the reason Simon thought she could sing was because she sent him my previous singing videos. That night, I studied late and was the last to return to the dormitory. While washing up, I suddenly felt my face getting itchy. I looked up at the mirror and was surprised to find that the acne on my face had somehow lessened, and my eyes seemed to have gotten bigger. My heart was pounding. Could this be the result of defying the system? I immediately thought of my puppy and sent a WeChat message to my mom to ask about Pippi. I didn't expect that my mom was still awake. She excitedly told me, "Pippi lay down to sleep right after finishing lunch this morning and didn't wake up for a long time," which scared us. But when we took him to the hospital tonight, the doctor miraculously found signs that Pippi was showing signs of rejuvenation. We just got home, and Pippi is already lively playing with toys on the stairs. I was happy for the entire evening, just thinking about going home this weekend and playing with Pippi like we used to. I toss and turn all night, unable to sleep. I was still beaming with joy when I came to the classroom the next day. "How ugly, you were already ugly, but now with those two swollen panda eyes, you're even more unsightly." Before I could even put my backpack down, I heard someone behind me making sarcastic comments. I couldn't be bothered to acknowledge them. So I took a sip of strong coffee and started memorizing my textbook. Before long, Sarah walked in carrying her backpack. She seemed a bit tanned, with an exaggerated bandage wrapped around her finger. Although it was her hand that was injured, she was walking with a limp, but what surprised everyone even more was that it was Simon who had escorted her to the classroom. Sarah knew everyone was watching her, so she deliberately slowed her pace, leisurely taking her seat. Her deskmate exclaimed with envy, "You're really something, it's great to be a beauty. Simon personally walked you home. We've been in high school for 3 years, and I've never heard of him being close to any girl." Sarah lifted her chin, feigning modesty as she said, "Oh, it's nothing. Simon is just a nice person. He thinks I'm too innocent and is afraid I might be bullied, so he's just looking out for me a bit more." As soon as these words were spoken, the others said resentfully, "It's only because you're pretty. If it were us who got hurt, no handsome guy would help." But one girl still muttered discontentedly, "What nonsense, no one gets injured this seriously, she's just pretending to get sympathy." I had just turned to the next page's topic and simply smiled at the comment. We're all adults now, and who among us can't distinguish right from wrong or truth from falsehood? But in the face of absolute favoritism, the truth is often not worth mentioning. Simon stood outside the door but didn't leave immediately, until a few boys arrived, panting as they carried a large box of Häagen-Dazs. "It's very hot today, and everyone's been under a lot of academic pressure, so I'm treating everyone to ice cream." Amidst the screams, Simon walked in, stood on the podium with a bright smile. "Sarah is rather introverted and kind. She doesn't dare to speak up when bullied, so I hope everyone will take good care of her in the future." Each of the students had a box of ice cream, their mouths watering, and naturally agreed without hesitation when they heard this. While eating, they all remarked one after another how lucky Sarah was. "Sigh, what's the point of people like us living? She's beautiful and was born as the protagonist, a true female lead in a youth campus novel. Only Sarah is worthy of such a perfect guy." Simon heard a slight smile touching his lips as he deliberately emphasized, "Of course. Not everyone gets ice cream this time. A certain selfish and jealous person can forget about it." Everyone looked at me. My desk was empty, with only a simple workbook on it. Everyone erupted into piercing laughter. "Ha ha ha ha, in this day and age, pretty girls can date handsome guys, while ugly girls can only fantasize with their textbooks." I ignored it and turned to look out the window. At that time, the cicadas chirped loudly, and the green of youth surged wildly in the midsummer. Countless secret and burgeoning affections were growing, but at this age, not everyone needs to pick the fruits of love early. There are many things more important than love, for example, the future. From this day on, Sarah focused on how to completely win over Simon and prepare for the school anniversary gala. She firmly believed that she would soon be able to trade for everything else I had left, so she became even more active in borrowing things from me for various reasons. But she didn't notice that what I gave her became increasingly strange: dog hair clips, oddly shaped sweaters, somewhat strange sanitary napkins. One time I didn't even bother pretending and just gave her a bag of pet biscuits, and she ate them all without a second thought. Visibly, my skin became whiter and whiter, and my facial features became more refined and three-dimensional, but to prevent Sarah from noticing, I deliberately put on makeup to make myself look ugly every day and wore a mask under the pretext of having a cold, and she gradually stopped focusing her attention on me, seeking out Simon whenever she had free time. During this evening's self-study session, everyone was unusually quiet, with everyone pretending to be studying seriously. This was only because the results of last week's joint exam were about to be released. The questions this time were very difficult, and everyone felt they were doomed. Suddenly, Sarah, who was late, entered wearing a face mask. "Oh my God, the latest LV, the one my favorite influencer just bought." The girl near the door spotted it with her sharp eyes and immediately shouted. Everyone's heads instantly lifted up, their eyes filled with disbelief. You should know that as a student from a poor family, Sarah used to have a patched school bag. Well, this bag was only $38,000, nothing special. Sarah's face was full of sweetness. "Simon bought it for me. He's always been very generous. Every time he treats me to dinner, it's at a 5-star restaurant, and one meal costs almost $10,000. Oh, right. Simon also said that if I like bags, he can take me to buy Hermes. An entire street in the city center actually belongs to his family." Sarah thought she would once again be the envy of the entire class, but this time, the students' gossip didn't ignite as everyone was now more concerned about their own survival. It's just exam results. I could get first place even with my eyes closed." Sarah snorted disdainfully, then returned to her seat and lay down to sleep, using my dog cushion. Meanwhile, I quietly took out a mirror from my school bag, took off my mask. Flawless skin, so white it almost glowed, clear eyes, thick eyelashes, a high nose bridge, and naturally red lips, even more beautiful than before. My face has completely returned, which means Sarah's life-swapping system has completely failed. If that's the case, then what's behind her mask right now, and the results she's about to announce? Well, that goes without saying. After class, I picked up my water bottle to get a refill. Unexpectedly, I ran into Simon while passing by a staircase. I didn't stop and continued walking, but Simon directly blocked my path. "Congratulations, you actually got first place in the grade this time, jumping from last place to this ranking. Did you really achieve it all by yourself, first in my grade?" I felt a surge of joy in my heart. I had been wallowing in failure for too long since the system took effect, and now I was finally back on track, especially since, according to rumors, this exam was crucial for the evaluation of outstanding students, which could lead to bonus points in the college entrance examination. Of course, I relied on myself. I was about to leave after saying this, but Simon stepped in front of me first. I bumped right into his chest unexpectedly, and my mask almost fell off. The boy was also startled for a moment. He quickly stepped aside, his expression darkening further. "Mia, what method did you use to switch grades with Sarah? She's always been first in previous years. Why did your rankings get reversed this time?" I checked the surveillance and found nothing unusual. "What method did you use?" Under the dim corridor lights, the boy frowned deeply, and I suddenly laughed. "Simon, there are many more things beyond your expectations. For example, are you so sure you found the right person?" I looked up, our eyes meeting. He stared at me, his pupils slightly dilated, a flash of astonishment crossing his eyes. "Your eyes?" I only reacted then, quickly hugging the cup and running back to the classroom. By the time I returned to the classroom, the news that I had ranked first in the grade had already spread like wildfire, and everyone was looking at me in utter astonishment. But Sarah's seat was empty. Not only that, but starting from that class, she never returned to the classroom for several consecutive days. Friday arrived, and so did the school anniversary gala. I specially hired a professional makeup artist from outside to design a custom look for me. While getting my makeup done in the private room, I suddenly heard Simon's voice on the phone outside the door. "Sarah, why aren't you here yet? The makeup artist I hired for you has already arrived, and the dress is exactly the one you said you wanted. If there's anything you're not satisfied with, just say the word, and I'll have them change it immediately. Won't you come out and meet me first?" The boy's voice carried a hint of humble pleading. "It's been a long time since you've refused to see me, and you won't come to school either. Can you tell me the reason? Are you avoiding me or what? If there's a problem, tell me, and I'll definitely fix it. Just don't ignore me." "Hello, hello." When I finished putting on my makeup and went out, he happened to have his back to me, frantically pressing the phone. So even the school heartthrob is so humble in a relationship. Serves him right. I lifted my skirt and got into my family's Rolls Royce. As evening fell, the moment I stepped out of the car, all the pedestrians around were stunned. Is this the celebrity host the school invited? Oh my God, so ethereal and beautiful. Why does she feel like some movie star? That can't be right. The school didn't say they invited outside help. Could this actually be a student from our school? What are you thinking? If there was such a beautiful girl, would I not know about her? She's too goddess-like. Even though everyone was dressed up carefully today, I still became the focus of the crowd. I made my way to the school auditorium, just in time for the host to announce my performance. I quickly stepped onto the stage, and suddenly all the lights in the venue focused on me, with my enlarged face displayed on the big screen. At this moment, the entire venue fell silent, while someone screamed backstage. The guy next to Simon saw me, his mouth wide open enough to fit an egg. He frantically poked Simon. "Holy shit, look quick, is that Mia? Are you sure it's not just someone with the same name? How did she become like this? I can't be bothered to look at someone so eyesore." Simon impatiently stared at his phone screen, without any intention of looking up, until I stepped onto the stage. The music started, and I sang the first line. The phone in Simon's hands suddenly dropped to the ground. "Sarah." He looked up in surprise, his pupils trembling the moment he saw the big screen. In the dark audience, he stood up without hesitation. As I finished my song, the audience emerged from their immersion and erupted with heart-wrenching cheers and screams. "Mia, you're my goddess. I love you, Mom. I'm in love. I'm going gay. She's so beautiful and her singing is amazing. So beautiful. Drop dead gorgeous. Debut right here on the spot. I'm not watching the rest of the show. Mia, one more song. Goddess." don't go, give me an autograph," when I walked to the class area. All my classmates looked at me with shocked expressions, all eyes were glued to me. "Are you, Mia?" I nodded. "Can't you tell from my voice?" The boy who spoke immediately blushed, stammering, Sorry, I didn't recognize you, you're just too beautiful." I smiled and said, "It's nothing, it was just the medication I was taking for my illness that contained hormones, so my skin didn't look great. I suddenly started wearing a mask a while ago because I was undergoing treatment. And now I've finally recovered." The boy standing opposite me had his face completely flushed. The other boys immediately pushed him over and scrambled to get in front of me, inviting me to the dance. "Mia," I only just noticed that Simon had appeared behind me at some point, his chest heaving violently, his eyes frighteningly bright as he looked at me. "Mia, I have something to ask you. Did you ever upload a video called Blue Lotus to the internet? You were wearing a light blue dress." Facing a full-length mirror, I looked at him as if he were trash and nodded. "So it was you?" He excitedly ran his hands through his hair, too nervous to look at me, his voice trembling. "I'm sorry, I mistook you for someone else. I actually made a mistake, no wonder something felt off. I apologize for my reckless behavior earlier. It's just, why didn't you explain yourself back then?" I gave him a hollow smile. Most people only believe what they see. In that situation, even if I had defended myself, would you really have believed me? Simon's face instantly turned red from his neck to his ears. He kept his head down, not daring to look at me. "Mia, your performance just now was wonderful. The most perfect interpretation I've ever seen. I'd like to invite you to dance." Before the boy could finish his words, a shrill scream suddenly came from the side. "Mia, you bitch, what did you do to me? You ruined me, you did it on purpose. I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you today." Sarah, wearing a mask and hat, looked like a ferocious ghost as she lunged straight at me, trying to scratch my face. Just as she was about to step on my dress, several boys quickly grabbed her. She fell heavily to the ground, her mask and hat dropping onto the floor. Hiss. "I'm going to throw up." The first boy who saw her face suddenly let go and began to gag violently. The others crowded forward to see what was happening. When Sarah was forced to lift her head, everyone's throat tightened. This face was covered with long yellow hair, the eyes had become small, the nostrils were flared outward, and the teeth were jagged, looking particularly terrifying. "Help, a ghost." "I'm not a ghost, you're the ghost," Sarah yelled fiercely. She frantically ran to Simon and pleaded, "Simon, I was made to look like this by someone. I beg you not to leave me, okay? I wasn't avoiding you before, I was trying to get treatment for my face. Can you give me some time? You can't be with Mia, she's just a bitch. You said you would only like me. Have you forgotten you said I was the one you've been looking for?" However, the boy looked at her with disgust on his face, obviously understanding everything. "If I'm not mistaken, the person who kept sending me private messages and changing accounts to harass me was actually you, right? Don't tell me you had plastic surgery to look like you did before, and now you're experiencing side effects." "I'm not, it was that bitch who hurt me, she's the one who hurt me." In front of everyone, Sarah actually spat out a mouthful of blood. The classmates screamed, and in the commotion, she rushed toward me like a madwoman and slapped me hard across the face. I didn't dodge, just coldly grabbed her wrist. "Mia, be careful." Seeing Simon rushing over to save me, I called out to stop him. "Don't worry about me, just call the police directly," because at this moment, even if Sarah used all her strength, her hits on me felt like cotton. "And call an ambulance while you're at it," I said slowly. "I have a feeling that our classmate Sarah doesn't have much time left." As soon as I said this, Sarah seemed to suddenly notice something. She looked at me in disbelief. Her eyes filled with red streaks, and collapsed limply to the ground. Just as she was about to hit the ground, I caught her firmly. "You wanted to know why you become like this, didn't you? Then I'll tell you." I leaned close to her ear and whispered in a volume only the two of us could hear. "That's because I've known the secret of your system for a long time. Since the day I awakened, everything you took from me belonged to my dog. I should even thank you for exchanging your own lifespan so it could accompany me for several more decades." She listened in despair, the trembling of her body gradually subsiding, with tears seeping from the corners of her eyes. You actually knew all along." Sarah finally opened her eyes wide, lying on the ground without breath. The school anniversary celebration was ultimately forced to end due to a fatal incident. According to the forensic examination, Sarah's internal organs had prematurely aged, and her death was unrelated to anyone. In the following period, I attended classes and went through my daily routine as usual. I didn't become complacent because of the popularity and title the celebration had bestowed upon me. I know well that life is a wilderness, others' attention or discussions do not constitute any part of my life is in my own hands, and self-discipline and upward striving are the main themes of life. Now in my senior year of high school, I must seize every minute to study, adding maximum weight to my life, and Simon was also greatly shaken after witnessing Sarah's death. He stopped bothering me and became much more quiet and reserved. Later, we both faced the college entrance examination. He performed as expected and got into his dream art school, and I also successfully entered University, studying the major I wanted most. During my university years, postcards from Beijing often arrived for me. At the end of every letter, there would always be a line, "I'm sorry, hope you're well." I know who sent them, and I've also learned through various news that he's doing better and better, having made a name for himself in the entertainment industry with a youth campus idol drama, gaining countless fans. He has repeatedly expressed that I was his most beautiful memory from his school days, and that my songs accompanied him through countless difficult times. In his most recent letter, he said that when filming that campus drama, he would inevitably think of me, thanking me for being the most beautiful scenery of his school days, letting him know that there could be such a well-rounded and outstanding girl in the world. But I never replied to a single letter. Our time has just begun, and all that has passed has long since dissipated like dust and smoke. He has his glittering stars, and I have my own brilliant life. The present is wonderful, and the future will be even better. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My roommate secretly brought an electric scooter battery into our dorm room to charge it, and I was awakened by the fire while sleeping. I was about to escape when the roommate who had left earlier closed the door directly, causing me to suffer severe burns. I was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment, and my parents sold our car and house to save me. However, the three roommates insisted that I was the one who brought the electric scooter battery up to charge. After each paying only 2,000 yuan in compensation, they refused to communicate further. In the end, I couldn't survive the systemic infection and died. My parents, overcome with grief, committed suicide by turning on the gas at home. Meanwhile, those culprits graduated smoothly, found good jobs, had cars and houses, got married, had children, and lived happily without any sense of guilt. Opening my eyes, I returned to a few days before my roommate brought the electric battery to our dorm to charge. This time, let the fire burn you all instead. I plan to start a nail art business in our dorm when we don't have classes. I'll cover 3/4 of the electricity bill, and you can split the remaining quarter among yourselves. If you want to get your nails done, I'll do them for you for free, and I'll also treat you to a big meal every month. Is that okay? Familiar voice, familiar dorm room. Realizing I've been reborn, the pain from being burned in my previous life hasn't yet faded. I clutched my rapidly beating chest, breathing heavily. Kathy walked to my bed and happily asked, "Judy, they've all agreed to let me do nail business in the dorm. You're willing to, right?" I glanced over, and both roommates were looking at me with smiles, saying, "Agree to it. Anyway, she'll pay the bulk of the electricity bill, and she'll also actively clean up." Lisa is a roommate who loves to take small advantages. In my previous life, she was the one who closed the dorm door just as I was about to escape. I sneered and said lightly, "I don't agree. The dormitory is a place for rest, not for you to make money. What if my valuables get lost? Who would I hold responsible?" Lily, who had been silent all along, spoke up. "How can you be like that? Kathy's family is already struggling financially. She goes out to do part-time jobs whenever she doesn't have classes, working hard through wind and rain. Now that she can earn some money in the dormitory, just let her do it. What valuables of yours could possibly be stolen? I think you're just jealous that she knows how to make money and you're feeling bitter and envious." The thought of me refusing meant Lisa couldn't get free nail art, and she'd be losing out big time, so she said to me angrily, "Yeah, none of us have it easy. Look at other dorms running snack shops with spicy strips. What's wrong with our dorm doing nail art?" Kathy said pitifully, "Judy, I just want to earn some money to cover my living expenses. Why are you always targeting me?" I sat on my bed with my arms crossed and said coldly, "I won't agree no matter what you say. If you dare to do these things in the dorm, I'll report you to the school." In my previous life, I also felt that Kathy had it tough, so I agreed to let her run her nail art business in our dorm. When no classmates came to the dorm for nail art services, she would go out to set up a street stall to do nails. After working for a while and earning some money, She bought an electric scooter of unknown generation. To save money, she would remove the battery and secretly charge it in the dorm. Later she became even more excessive. Whenever someone wanted to get their nails done, she would turn on a small light in the dorm room to do it for them at 2 or 3 in the morning. It severely affected our sleep and rest, but at that time, I felt it was difficult to fall out with her since we were classmates. Having experienced death once, I firmly refused. Because I refused, Kathy couldn't run her nail art business in the dorm and lost several customers. It was raining again, making it impossible for her to go to her part-time job, which made her so angry she started acting crazy in the dorm. Even putting down a water cup would make a loud noise, and closing the door would create a bang sound, crying every day and feeling depressed. The other 2 roommates kept making sarcastic remarks about me. After school that day, I went to the cafeteria to eat. And Mark angrily sat down across from me and said very angrily, "Judy, why do you always bully Kathy? She just wants to run a nail art business in the dorm. What would it cost you to agree?" I didn't even glance at him, eating while scrolling through videos, unable to help laughing when I saw something funny. Mark became even angrier when I ignored him. He took a deep breath and said, "Judy, haven't you always wanted to be my girlfriend? As long as you agree to let Kathy run her nail art business in the dorm, I'll agree to give us a try." Mark has good grades, is handsome, and plays basketball with such a sunny disposition, a senior who is exactly my type. In my previous life, I did confess to him several times, but I failed every time. Later, after I was severely burned all over my body, he used a fake account to continuously attack me on the campus forum, calling me ugly and saying I looked like a monster. Seeing him thinking he was so clever as he babbled on in front of me, I just felt disgusted. I picked up the soup beside me and poured it over his head. A frangipani flower hung from the tip of his nose as he looked at me in disbelief. He never expected I would do such a thing. Everyone around stopped eating, their gazes all focused on Mark. Isn't that the president of the basketball club? Did he get rejected and have soup poured on him? Ahaha, he was furious. "Judy," I sneered and said, "if you feel sorry for him, then give him money. Why come over here trying to throw your weight around with me, and date me? Who do you think you are? Does your family have a throne to inherit? The dinner I just ate is about to come up because of you." I had embarrassing photos of Mark posted on the campus wall, and many people laughed at him. He used a side account to argue with the person in the comments. I found a technician to uncover Mark's real name and posted it on the campus wall. Not man enough to use your main account to insult people. He was so scared that he deleted his account overnight. Although I disagreed with Kathy running a nail business in our dorm, the other 2 roommates still let her do it. When I returned, there was already a classmate sitting at Kathy's desk, filing their nails. Kathy looked at me cautiously, stopped what she was doing, and said softly, "Judy, you're back. I bought some fruit for you. It's on your desk." Lisa was wearing a face mask while admiring her freshly done nails. She said, "Kathy, just go ahead and do it. The majority defers to the minority. You were even kind enough to buy her fruit. She won't dare do anything." Lily was lying on her bed searching for nail art designs and chimed in, "Yeah, it's not sleeping time now, and you're not working in her area. What's there to be afraid of? She's not the boss. I'm the dorm leader." The classmate doing nail art gave me a nasty look and said, "The dorm belongs to everyone. Just do your thing. What the hell is there to be scared of?" Seeing that everyone was on her side, Kathy happily started doing her nail art. I expressionlessly took out my phone and dialed the campus complaint hotline. "Hello teacher, I want to report that the girls' dormitory room 109 is running a paid nail salon business, which has seriously affected my rest time." Everyone was immediately furious. "Judy, how could you do this? Don't you understand that cutting off someone's source of income is like killing their parents? Damn it, I've long been fed up with Judy's behavior." Seeing me complain, Kathy quickly packed her things and had her classmates return to the dorm first. Not daring to continue, Lily jumped down from her bed, took the quilt and bed sheets from my bed, and threw them downstairs. "I want you to file a complaint. I want you to file a complaint. Just because I don't show my temper doesn't mean I don't have one." After yelling, she also smashed my books. She's very smart. She didn't touch my cosmetics and computer, only targeting essential yet inexpensive items. Before long, my desk and bed were reduced to ruins. I wasn't scared either. I forcefully pushed her away, tore off her quilt and bed sheets, and threw them downstairs. I even tore up her favorite sketchbook. "Go ahead, throw them. If you want to start something, I'll see it through to the end." Lisa pointed at me and yelled, "Judy, we were being nice to you because you're our roommate, but you insist on going against us and even through Lily's things. Today I'm going to teach you a lesson." Kathy tried to break up the fight. "Please don't fight, it's all my fault." Wah, Lisa protected Kathy behind her and said, "You're not at fault, Judy is the one to blame." She had quite the nerve, and after yelling at me, she directly threw my computer at me. Luckily I dodged quickly, but the computer fell to the ground and split in two. Seeing that she didn't touch me, she picked up my skincare products and threw them at my feet, so I threw her things too. Anyway, we were all making a mess together. The dormitory was in complete chaos, and Lisa and I started physically fighting. Because she had just gotten her nails done, they scratched my body, leaving marks that made me gasp in pain. The thought of her closing the door in my past life, which made my burns even more severe. I saw red, slapping her several times in a row until she was howling in pain. Then I viciously pinched her tender flesh a few times to vent my anger. "Ah, ow, it hurts so much, let go of me, you bitch." When Lily joined in, I was outnumbered and took quite a beating, but I fought back ruthlessly, each hit making them scream in agony. Just as the three of us were rolling on the ground in a tangled mess, the counselor arrived. Cursing, he pulled us apart and took us to the hospital for a checkup. "What's wrong with this girl? How can she be more violent than the boys in the dormitory?" I will be calling your parents about today's fight, and I'll also be deducting your academic credits." When the counselor learned that it was caused by Kathy running a nail art business in the dormitory, she deducted her academic credits as well. Kathy cried and begged the counselor not to deduct her academic credits. The counselor said very seriously, "Crying is useless, all of this was caused by you, and you will have to compensate for the dormitory damages. Have your parents come to the school as well." Kathy directly knelt before the counselor. "Counselor, please, my parents never wanted me to study. I did this because they wouldn't give me tuition and living expenses. I could only rely on this skill to earn money for school. If they come to the school, they will definitely take me back and force me to marry." The counselor asked me, "Judy, what are your thoughts? You were the most harmed in this farce and are also the victim." I said very seriously, "I don't accept any mediation or apology. The dormitory is a place for everyone to rest, not to be used as a business venue. Handle this according to the rules. If she's let off this easily, will someone be able to open a hot pot restaurant in the dormitory next time?" The buying and selling of dormitory spots has always existed, but as long as it doesn't cause a big scene, the administration turns a blind eye. If it blows up, that means disciplinary action and having the punishment read out in front of the entire school. The parents of everyone in the dormitory were called to the office for a collective lecture. The parents of the other 3 students all scolded them thoroughly, with Kathy's parents being the most severe, dragging Kathy directly onto campus, intending to take her back home to marry and forbidding her to continue her studies. "You're a disgrace. When I told you to get married, you insisted on going to school. Now you've made us a laughingstock and had me called to the school. How am I supposed to show my face back home? No more education for you. I've already found a man for you. You'll marry him as soon as we return." Kathy cried and struggled, her pitiful pleas for mercy echoing across the campus. "Dad, Mom, I don't want to get married. I haven't done anything wrong. I just wanted to earn money. I just wanted a future. I only have 2 years left until graduation." She knelt on the ground and kowtowed fiercely to her parents, until blood bumps formed on her forehead. "Mom and Dad, I'm begging you, just give me 2 more years. Once I graduate and make money, I'll definitely give it to you. Please, please don't make me get married." Kathy's mother spat directly and slapped her across the face. 2 years. In 2 years after you get married, I could be holding 2 grandchildren. No more education for you." Kathy's father directly hoisted the person onto his shoulder and strode toward the school gate to leave. "Let go of Kathy." At this moment, Mark ran out and blocked the path of Kathy's parents. "I'm Kathy's boyfriend, and I won't allow you to marry her to another man." Hearing his words, I raised my eyebrows. Kathy took the opportunity to struggle down from her father's shoulders and hid behind Mark. Kathy's mother was furious and cursed, "Instead of studying properly, you're messing around in the dormitory, and you even hid a boyfriend from us. Fine, your wings have grown stiff, you won't listen to discipline. Today I'll beat you, this worthless thing, to death." The family ran all over the campus playing Eagle Catches the Chicks, and it was only when the school authorities intervened that Kathy was allowed to continue her studies at the school. After this incident, I applied to my counselor for a room change. After I left, only 3 people remained in the original dorm. After about a month, when everyone had gradually forgotten about the matter, Kathy quietly started doing nail art business in the dorm again. After becoming wealthy, Kathy often treated Lisa and Lily to lavish meals. She also showed off her sweet romance with Mark on the campus wall. Several times when we met in the cafeteria, they held their heads high and flaunted themselves in front of me. Vaguely, I could sense a hint of hatred in Kathy's eyes when she looked at me. I pretended not to see and continued eating the large chicken leg in my bowl. I saw the large bag at Kathy and Mark's feet, which contained the battery they were planning to take back to the dormitory to charge. I had no intention of reminding them. If I went over and said something, I might even get scolded. Since you love showing off so much, I hope you can keep being smug for a while longer. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing who gets burned this time. Fortunately, the dorm I moved to is 2 buildings away from Kathy and her roommates, so even if they burn in their sleep, the fire won't reach me. I don't want to cause trouble, but the other person took a dislike to me and deliberately came looking for a fight. Lily knew about Mark being splashed with soup by me last time, so she pretended to go get some soup. While I wasn't paying attention, she walked behind me and poured a large bowl of mung bean soup directly over my head. Lisa stood across from me, holding up her phone and laughing loudly. Ha ha ha, that's so funny. I turned around with anger to look at Lily, and said through gritted teeth, "Are you looking for a beating?" Lily said smugly, "Sorry, the floor was too slippery, just an accident. I didn't do it on purpose, and I've already apologized to you. Are you still going to report me to the counselor?" A male student nearby said in a creepy voice. I saw it. Blue lace, hee hee. Suddenly I looked down and saw that my white clothes, now soaked, revealed the shape of my chest. I picked up a book to cover my chest, but Lily deliberately blocked my way. Shamelessly, she said, "You haven't told me yet." After I apologized, "Did you forgive me?" I laughed, picked up a classmate's soup from beside me, and splashed it on her chest. Whistling, I said, "Wow, you're not wearing anything at all, Judy, you're a hooligan." Lily quickly covered her chest, blushing as she glared at me and turned around, running even faster than me. A burst of laughter came from behind me. I sneered and left the cafeteria, returning to the dorm to change clothes. That evening, someone uploaded photos and videos of me and Lily to the campus wall again. The comments were so filthy they could make your eyes bleed. I spent the whole night reporting it to get it deleted, only falling asleep at 1 a.m. after all the hassle. In my drowsy state, I heard a commotion. "Get up quickly, there's a fire, help put it out." The word fire was too sensitive in my mind. I sprang up like a carp, threw on my clothes, and rushed downstairs. When I ran from the building to the playground, I saw black smoke continuously billowing out from dormitory 109. Lily's miserable scream pierced through the silent night. "Help me, Lisa, why did you close the door?" Ah, the tearing sound echoed in my ears. My heartbeat raced uncontrollably, my whole body began to tremble, my throat felt dry, and my hands tightly clutched the corners of my clothes. That feeling of being burned by fire, I will never forget it for the rest of my life. Even now, standing in an open place with abundant oxygen, looking at that black smoke, I can still imagine the feeling of being burned in my previous life. "She's saved, she's saved." A ringing sound came to my ears, and I saw medical staff carrying the blackened Lily on a stretcher. Kathy followed behind, scolding Lisa. "How could you close the door when you just ran out?" Lisa mumbled, her lips pale, her legs already so weak that she collapsed to the ground upon reaching the playground, shaking her head with tears in her eyes. I saw the fire chasing me as I ran out, so I closed the door instinctively. I thought she had come out before me. I didn't know anything. The surrounding students started cursing at Lisa. "Oh my God, disregarding someone else's life just to save yourself. If the door had been welded shut, wouldn't that have been murder?" Yesterday I heard her bad-mouthing her former roommate in the cafeteria. She's obviously a person with an extremely vicious character. It's disgusting. Having a roommate like her is the worst luck imaginable. Exactly. That student who got burned should have all her expenses compensated by their family. Everyone started targeting Lisa, and I saw Kathy breathe a sigh of relief. She said gently, "Lisa, I know you didn't mean it. We'll go to the hospital to visit Lily later and explain that you just had a blank mind at that moment. I believe she won't blame us, and we'll help figure out a way with her expenses. You should call your parents now and ask them to go to the hospital too." Want to blame all the mistakes on Lisa? I'm not giving you that chance. I stood up and asked, "Our school dorms have never allowed high-power electrical appliances, and there has never been a fire in all the years since the school was founded. What exactly were you doing in the dorm room?" As soon as I said this, Kathy's body stiffened, and her face instantly turned deathly pale. Tightly pressing her lips and avoiding eye contact, she said, We didn't do anything, it caught fire on its own, I sneered and said, you like doing your nails in the dorm and tinkering with things, I think you must have plugged something into charge. The fire has already been put out by the teacher, and when they investigate, they'll find out what really caused the fire. Kathy's tears fell directly as she questioned me excitedly, Judy, I know you hate me. But you can't just target me right away. It wasn't me who trapped Lily inside, my hand was also burned, and I haven't said anything, yet you want to frame me. I snorted coldly, watching the teacher walk down from upstairs, and stepped forward to ask, Teacher, have you found out what caused the fire? What was the source of the ignition? The counselor said, the firefighters just went up to take a look. They determined that the quality of the dormitory plug was poor, and clothes were piled around the plug, causing uneven heat dissipation which led to the fire. The location of that plug was right at Lily's bed. What? No battery was found. Mark, who was standing behind me, stepped forward at this moment and accused me. Judy, what exactly are you trying to ask? Are you still trying to frame Kathy? She was only using a small low-power lamp in the dorm, not any high-power appliances at all. The firefighters just checked. It was caused by Lily using a poor-quality power strip. The familiar shifting of blame. Just as I was puzzling over it, I suddenly noticed Mark's fingers, and with a slight curl of my lips, I said softly, Mark, stop trying to defend Kathy all the time, you should get that burn on your hand treated quickly. Mark, frightened, covered his injured palm and pulled Kathy away from the scene. The dormitory fire had been extinguished, and Lisa was willing to pay 2,000 yuan in compensation for her actions. Kathy, out of consideration for their roommate relationship, also gave 2,000 yuan. The cause of the fire was determined to be poor quality of Lily's power strip. When she woke up, she looked at her body wrapped entirely in bandages. She cried every day, but the doctor said, you have burns on your face too, you can't cry. Tears will soak the fresh bandages, and they'll get infected again. Heartbroken but unable to cry, this made Lily depressed. She was the only child in her family, and her parents had just one daughter. Seeing her so badly injured, their hair turned white overnight. Because I had a question in my mind, I specifically went to ask the counselor. When the big fire started, the counselor asked classmates to help put it out, and Mark came up shortly after. After the fire was extinguished, the teacher didn't check the source of the fire immediately, but first arranged to send Lily to the hospital. By the time the firefighters arrived, the fire had already been put out. Meanwhile, while I was arguing with Kathy under the playground, Mark came down later, with black substance on his hands and several blisters from burns on his palms. Kathy had secretly taken the battery to charge it in the dorm, without Lisa and Lily's knowledge, but in the cafeteria, I clearly saw the bag containing the battery placed beside Mark's feet. I also went around the dormitory but didn't see any trace of the battery. Things are getting interesting now. Our school is currently at the old campus, and classes have been gradually moving to the new campus in the suburbs. The surveillance cameras in our dormitory have long been outdated, and we're moving to the old campus next month, so they never installed new ones. So the specific cause of what happened couldn't be determined, but I had recorded a video of them eating in the cafeteria at that time, especially the battery bag placed at Mark's feet. In just a few days of treatment at the hospital, Lily spent hundreds of thousands, borrowing money everywhere. The school had also organized donations, but it was far from enough. With full-body burns, she needed a lot of money every day, and without skin, it had to be grafted from her parents. Money flowed like water. Having no other choice, Lily's parents could only start a fundraising video online, documenting Lily's condition every day. She was wrapped up like a mummy, with only a pair of eyes exposed. The person she once was had lost all her former joy. Several times she wanted to end her life, unable to bear seeing herself in the mirror, but her parents stopped her every time. I sent Lily a video using my alternate account. Whether she can understand it or not depends on her own destiny. Lisa was targeted by everyone at school because of the door-closing incident. She felt very wronged and shared her feelings with Kathy. Kathy, I really didn't know she was still sleeping at that time. I only closed the door because I wanted to contain the fire and prevent it from spreading to the hallway. I opened the door immediately when I heard her screams. Why is everyone blaming me? My back is also burned, and they're all calling me a murderer. Wah. Instead of comforting her, Kathy said, I was the first one to run out. You should have helped Lily when you were the second one out. Lisa was stunned. She looked at Kathy and said angrily, You're blaming me too. This was clearly caused by her electrical plug problem. Why is this my fault? Well, you can't say that. We only got minor burns, but Lily was burned all over her body. you can't say you don't have any responsibility at all. If it were me, I would definitely face my mistake instead of shifting the blame onto me here. Lisa, I used to just think you were a bit petty, but I never expected you to. We shouldn't associate with each other anymore. Kathy's action undoubtedly pushed Lisa into the public eye. The campus wall was filled with posts about her. Even photos of me fighting with Lisa were leaked. Photos of my smashed computer and my skincare products worth thousands of yuan being destroyed were clearly visible on the campus wall. Lisa, get out of our school. You bully your roommates and are a murderer. Lisa stole items from the campus canteen/convenience store. Shocking. Lisa does improper work outside the school. Countless topics about Lisa were trending on the campus wall, with absurd rumors being pinned on her. Out of curiosity, I had my tech-savvy friend help me track down the identities of those who posted the rumors. Unexpectedly, it was Mark again. I kindly sent the information to Lisa using a side account. That day she rushed to the men's dormitory with a knife to find Mark. I was memorizing vocabulary words at the time, and even with my headphones on, I could still hear the screams and commotion from the men's dormitory. Videos of the men's dormitory incident were spreading all over the school, and I clicked on one to watch. I saw Mark hiding in the bathroom wearing only his boxers, while Lisa was continuously hacking at the bathroom door with her knife. Mark, if you have the guts to spread rumors about me, why don't you dare come out and face me? Get out here. What right do you have to say I'm clucking like a chicken? Woo-woo, what did I ever do to offend you? Get out here, I'm going to kill you. The video was filmed from another building, showing Mark hugging his chest and shivering in the bathroom window, not daring to speak. Because of what happened with Lily, she had been suppressing her emotions for too long. Once Mark started spreading rumors, it was the trigger that turned all her pent-up feelings into rage. I kicked the bathroom door open with a few kicks, and as soon as I entered, I stabbed the knife into Mark's shoulder. Talk. Why did you spread rumors about me? What did I do to offend you? Even with the volume turned to the minimum, the questioning voice still made my ears hurt. After all, Mark was a physical education student. He grabbed the knife handle, kicked Lisa to the ground with one foot, and slipped out of the dormitory himself. The teachers and police all arrived. The police took Lisa to the police station and sent Mark to the emergency room for treatment. Such a major incident happening at the school in such a short time left the students in a state of panic. Kathy moved out of the dormitory and rented a small stall at the night market, doing nail art when she didn't have classes. She's still posting photos of her work on social media, looking like she's doing so well. I'm really annoyed about it, but that's okay. This is about revenge. It has to be done slowly. Lisa's parents compensated Mark with 10,000 yuan to keep her out of jail, but when Lily found out about this, she felt uncomfortable to sue Lisa in court for compensation of her subsequent treatment costs. The two families became entangled in conflict. Because of this, Lisa dropped out of school. Lily took a leave of absence, while I studied even harder. And Kathy's life was getting better and better. When I have free time, I often go home to visit my parents. Whenever I think of how miserable my parents' lives were in my previous life because of me, I feel extremely guilty. Kathy made a lot of money by doing nails at a street stall and also ran an online account with tens of thousands of followers. She earned several thousand yuan monthly from advertising, making her a successful example of student entrepreneurship. She bought a 50,000 yuan used Toyota car in installments, that day when I was returning to school. Her car happened to drive past me through a puddle. Dirty water splashed all over me. She stopped in the distance, got out of the car, and apologized to me with a smile. Judy, I'm so sorry, I'm still getting used to this new car and didn't pay attention to my speed. How much was your outfit? Let me pay for it as an apology. Okay. What a fake person and fake smile, showing off in front of me. I smiled, wiped myself dry with a tissue and said, no thanks, it's just a bit of water. You should practice your driving skills before taking your car out again. This time, your poor driving just got me a little wet. Next time, you might kill someone, and that wouldn't be good. Mark got out from the passenger seat and said to me in a very annoyed tone, Judy, how can you be so heartless? If you're jealous that Kathy bought a car, just say so. Why do you have to curse others? You have no manners at all. I looked Mark up and down, then sneered, what's wrong with you, playing the sacrificial pawn for your girlfriend day after day? As a man, can't you stand on your own 2 feet? Stop living off women. Your girlfriend buys the car first, while you're nothing. What right do you have to lecture me, you kept man? My words were like trampling on Mark's self-esteem and insulting him, and he started cursing furiously. I continued to provoke him, saying, if you keep being a kept man, Your girlfriend will leave you. What's the use of cursing at me? We were arguing at the school gate, and the security guard thought it was affecting the school's atmosphere, so he came over and told Kathy to drive the car away. She had no choice but to pull Mark away from me, and he got into the car indignantly. I'm not saying this without evidence. Kathy is such a scheming woman. Now that she's making money, she's become so cheap. Of course, once she had money, her attitude changed. I even saw her secretly going to a quiet bar for drinks with young handsome men. The flirtatious atmosphere was so cringe-worthy that even I couldn't bear to watch. They even went to a nearby hotel to get a room, while Mark was back at school, sleeping soundly like a fool. Completely unaware that his girlfriend had already been cheating on him, I felt that exposing this at that point wouldn't cause much harm, so I held back. This continued until graduation, when Kathy opened a nail and eyelash salon. She happened to set it up in an area with heavy foot traffic. The young lady was also willing to spend money on herself and started hiring a few nail artists. The shop was packed with customers from morning till night. I got a job at a Fortune 500 state-owned enterprise near my home, so I could eat home-cooked meals made by my parents right after work. My sense of happiness was completely fulfilled, which caused me to forget about revenge for that entire year. It wasn't until the second year when our class had a reunion that I saw Kathy and realized there was still something important I hadn't done. Kathy had gotten another small Audi car, and as her boyfriend, Mark came along too, at the dinner table. I wickedly asked a question. You two dated for so many years in school, how come you're not married yet? Mark glared at me uncomfortably. None of your business. Kathy smiled and said, the store is busy right now, let's think about marriage when things slow down. We're still young, there's no rush. Busy enough to meet different male lovers every month. Kathy walked over with a drink and said to me with a smile, Judy, I know you have some issues with me, but I genuinely want to be friends with you. Can we toast? Our classmates were all watching, and Kathy looked like she wouldn't leave unless I drank. I picked up the drink in front of me, raised it toward her, and drank it all in one go. Kathy satisfactorily drank the beverage in her hand, returned to her seat, with a faint look of triumph on her face. I snorted coldly in my heart and glanced at the cup on the table. After that, I ate my meal leisurely, occasionally chatting with my classmates. Kathy's eyes kept glancing at me. As time passed second by second, she frequently looked at her phone, a hint of impatience flashing across her face. I picked up a napkin, wiped my mouth, and said to the person next to me, I'm going to the restroom. After I went out, I hid in a corner, and Kathy followed right after me, heading toward the restroom. After waiting for a while, I went back to the private room to continue eating with my classmates. About 10 minutes later, it became noisy outside. Help, help, Kathy's cry for help came, and as we walked out, we saw her standing outside in disarray while a man burst out of the women's restroom and ran away. Mark immediately stepped forward to check on Kathy. Kathy, how did this happen? Kathy leaned in Mark's arms, her eyes fixed on me, and I returned her with a smile. She trembled with anger, gritting her teeth, and her hands tightly gripped Mark's shoulders, making him exclaim in surprise, Kathy, it's okay, it's okay. I'm here with you. Classmates all suggested calling the police, but Kathy didn't dare. She could only say that she encountered a pervert who hadn't caused her any substantial harm, so it would be better to just let it go. I had seen through this little trick long ago. My cup and drink had been secretly replaced with new ones by me. Kathy paid a waiter to put aphrodisiacs in my drink, wanting to embarrass me in front of my classmates. Seeing me drink the beverage, she followed me to the restroom. Wanting to witness the scene firsthand, unexpectedly, when she followed me, the man who had been arranged there in advance mistook Kathy for me. He made a move on Kathy, but since she hadn't consumed the drugged drink, she was just groped by the man and managed to break free and run away. The guy took advantage of everyone's confusion and ran away. After the party ended, Kathy came to find me alone. She wasn't acting anymore, revealing her true colors. I didn't expect you to see through me, Judy. One day I'll make you pay. Looking at her ferocious expression, I said calmly, you won't get the chance. After that, we didn't contact each other for a long time. Only a few people were chatting in the class group. When Kathy secretly went out on dates with other male lovers, I secretly sent the video and address to Mark. At first, he didn't believe it and didn't dare to check. After several consecutive times, I sent him different addresses. And the men with Kathy in the videos were not the same, until a photo of them kissing in front of the milk tea shop surfaced. Mark finally brought his friends to catch them cheating, rushed into the hotel, and saw two naked people. Mark angrily questioned Kathy, you rejected my proposal. so you were seeing another man behind my back, after being discovered. Kathy stopped pretending and directly humiliated Mark in front of everyone. You eat my food and live in my house. What benefits would I get from marrying you? I've already done you a favor by keeping you around, but you just had to cause trouble. Since this has come to light, let's just break up. I won't allow it. Mark refused to give up and kept pestering her, so Kathy impatiently found people to beat him half to death, after he was discharged from the hospital. He heard the news that Kathy had married someone else. He rushed to the wedding scene and knelt, begging Kathy not to marry, only to be publicly humiliated by the groom and Kathy, stripped of all dignity. Losing his mind, Mark blurted out the secret. Kathy, you ungrateful bitch, back in the dorm, you secretly charged a battery that caused your roommate to suffer severe burns. I was the one who sneaked in and disposed of the evidence for you, and this is how you treat me. Do you have a heart at all? You're just a worn-out shoe that I've used and discarded. You've had so many abortions that your uterine lining has thinned and you can't even have children. Handsome, are you sure you still want a woman like this? Just because she has some money doesn't make her all that special. As soon as Mark spoke, the guests below the stage became excited. Kathy had invited many of their classmates from that time. From the moment Mark rushed in, many classmates had already taken out their phones to record. Someone directly sent what Mark said to Lisa and Lily. Over the past few years, the two of them had been suing each other and were already completely exhausted. Lily had her bandages removed and survived, but the ugly burn scars made her afraid to face people. When she learned that Kathy was the culprit responsible for her condition, she ignored the strange looks from others and left home for the first time to find Kathy. Lisa had taken the fall for Kathy many times over the years and was already suffering from mental trauma. She also wanted to confront Kathy. Unable to find Kathy, they smashed her shop to pieces and destroyed her newly purchased BMW. In order to ambush Kathy, the three of them worked together and finally caught her at a hotel. Perhaps out of excessive resentment, the three of them showed no mercy in their attack, directly causing Kathy to have a brain hemorrhage at such a young age. She would be paralyzed in bed for the rest of her life. Kathy's parents had long since stopped caring about her, to the point of severing ties, so no one paid any attention. Since the three of them caused her injuries, they would actively take responsibility for caring for Kathy for the rest of her life. But care was constantly torturing Kathy. Watching them torment each other, I was very satisfied. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.